rule with 2 Senate seats in Georgia still possible. Seats that will
I
make
have to
the
go
difference
pee.
between...
There's no TOS in this, is there? Sometimes he puts like idiotic shit in here, but I have to go pee right now.
And finally, new rule with 2 Senate seats
right,
in
we're gonna
Georgia
mold a
still
little bit.
possible. Seats that will make the difference between gridlock and progress. Democrats must figure out why so many voters still say to them, "You're good enough, you're smart enough, but doggone it, we don't like you." Under the headline, "Something Went Wrong," the New York Times described a post-election conference call between Democratic leaders where they wept, cursed, and traded blame. Wait, I thought we won this one. Which we did. We did, and yes, ding dong, the whiny little bitch is dead. Celebration is in order. We took a big step toward saving democracy and in the process lost 280 pounds of ugly fat. All right, that's my last fat joke about Trump for the next 5 minutes. But Democrats were supposed to flip the Senate and didn't. Supposed to flip state legislatures, not a one. And they lost seats in the House in a year that was so much about making people aware of racism. Their share of minority votes went down. The message to Democrats from so much of the country seems to be, we don't like Trump, but we still can't bring ourselves to vote for you. If Cracker Jack was made of popcorn and dog shit, and half the people threw out the popcorn, popcorn should want to know why. Liberals can...
He's not vote shaming. He's not vote shaming, is he? It seems like he's asking for accountability from the Democratic Party, which is not something you would ever hear from. He'll probably vote shame after this, but because there's no way he's always... Listen, Bill Maher is the king of being an annoying, snarky, bi-coastal elitist liberal who literally acts like he knows what the working class wants, despite the fact that he is 7 steps removed from it, okay? The only time Bill Maher ever sees a member of the working class is when someone fucking Postmates alcohol to him at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, and he opens the door with his dick hanging out because he's having a fucking orgy, okay? That's the only time Bill Maher has ever known, like, or has ever had an interaction with the working class. He's a multi-gajillionaire from years and years and years of being a very famous comic, and totally fucking out of touch, and kind of one of those people that you point to when you're like, this fucking guy sucks, and he's so fucking out of touch. And he's one of those dudes that really frustrates me because his entire POV is like, oh no, you should be transphobic and Islamophobic because that's what the working class wants. Bill Maher. This is Bill Maher. I hate him. Oh, there's a lot of new people in here. I dislike Bill Maher intensely. I'm just going to let you know. So much so that it's a fucking meme in this community. Bill Maher is... so much so that it's a meme in this community about how, like, they say I love Bill Maher. Because one time, instead of saying Bill Burr, I accidentally said Bill Maher. He is one of those dudes that fucking constantly cries about SJWs and, like, literally directs all of his attention, laser focuses on, like, random fucking college freshmen, greatly elevated that, like, campus hysteria shit that Republicans used to do. Would you go on a show? In a fucking heartbeat. Of course I would go on a show. Yeah, he is r/atheism combined with r/neoliberal. I'm not baiting you and trying to piss you off, but isn't this the same argument that a lot of people try to use against you? Yeah, except my opinions are correct and his opinions are dog shit. That's the difference. Okay? And also, I'm not as fucking far removed from being a working Andy as Bill Maher is. I haven't built an entire fucking career being a smug liberal who can't shut the fuck up about, like, completely inconsequential, completely marginal people that are not at the forefront of the political conversation, because there's no other way that I can, like, there's no other way that I can comprehend the system. It's just basically, what he's doing is basically just centrist YouTube shit, but from the left. Like, It's cancel culture. Cancel culture is the reason why Democrats are losing House seats. Like, that's idiotic. Okay, that's completely idiotic. How much is a loaf of bread in the city of Fayetteville, Arkansas? I don't fucking know. I would never go to that place. What are you, out of your mind, dude? Arkansas needs to fucking figure itself out first, okay? Is it Kansas or Arkansas, or is it Arkansas and Kansas? Okay? That's what you need to figure out first, and then you can fucking ask me that question again. Probably like $4 though, if we're being honest. Or at least that's how much it is here in fucking California, Los Angeles, where everything is expensive as shit. Or at least the kind of bread that I buy. Anyway. Cancel culture might not be, but liberalism is. They need to focus on leftism and not lib shit. Yeah. That's where I live. $3.98. What kind of bread do you buy? I buy Dave's Killer Bread. Or is it Killer Mike's bread? I don't fucking know what it's called, but that's the one I buy. It's like 60 calories per slice. That's why I get that. It's pretty good. And it's pretty tasty too. The thing is, like, they've done a really good job. Killer Mike's. Yeah, no, I know it's not Killer Mike. Yeah. It's Dave's, right? It is Dave's.
Haha, fucking left.
Red loaf over green loaf.
Working class lol.
Hella sugar in Dave's Killer Bread. Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's why it's like. That's why I think it is so tasty, because they pump it full of sugar. They employ ex-felons. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. I mean, I don't give a shit about that. I think that's dope. I just get it because it's low calorie. It's made all by ex-cons. I had no idea that that was the case. Dave was actually a felon, and they have a felon employment program. Pretty cool. That makes me feel better. There you go. Conscious capitalism, folks. Dave from Dave's Killer Bread has a sad story. He had a mental breakdown recently. Poor dude. Dave's Bread and Stumptown Coffee. You are an honorary Portlander. Yeah. Murderer Nazi bread is good. Was he a Nazi on top of... Did he actually murder people? What is it? I mean, he's an ex-felon. What did he do? I didn't know that. Yeah, it is high in protein. Yes. That's the other reason why I like it a lot. Let's see. I mean, I don't give a fuck. What, you think I give a shit, dude? Ex-con founder story. Let's take a look. Co-founder Dave Dahl experiences firsthand, and he ran multiple patrol car. Wait. What? Oh, this story is so much better now. He had a breakdown. Was on sabbatical from the multi-million-dollar Milwaukee, Oregon-based company, but his time of his work had done more harm than good. The witnessing his behavior becoming increasingly concerned. He's fixated on the theme of peace, love, and enlightenment, identify himself with Jesus and Buddha. We have an employee who's in the front of our parking lot. He's physically intimidating customers in our store. We're very scared. He's a danger to himself and others. The voice told the 911 dispatcher. Dave Dahl, he's a big man. He's a bigger guy. He's got to be 6 feet, but he's pretty strong. He's having like a breakdown. He's sitting in his car. He's been in and out. He's an employee here. He's the founder of the company. He went into the store. He went to Bob's Red Mill headquarters across the street. By the time officers got there, he parked in his Escalade in the middle of the road like a jackass, as he tells it, and gone inside to get a coffee. He was sliding into his car when an officer approached him, and he said he wanted to talk. Dave talked to him and said no and drove off. Today, every time Dahl walks to a grocery store near his home, he sees his face in the bread aisle. He sees it everywhere. He also runs a weird African art auction site. That's crazy. So why did he go to jail originally? Did he kill someone? Armed robbery? Burglary? Even if he fucking killed someone, I don't give a shit. I've told you guys this a million times. I mean, there's a lot of new people every day, but yeah, I am a firm believer in rehabilitation, and this seems like an incredible success story regardless. His wiki. Oh, his father was a baker. Dave often fought with his father because he did not like working there and began smoking cigarettes and using other drugs in his teens. Wait, why is it 2013? Oh, he's bipolar. Crusted cornmeal loaf. Okay, so in 1987, he was incarcerated for the first time after burglarizing a house. He rejoined the bakery in 1989 after accepting a job offer from his brother Glenn before quitting again and moving to Massachusetts, where he served more time in prison for armed robbery. Dahl was arrested again in Portland, Oregon, after which he was incarcerated at the Snake River Correctional Institution near Ontario. In 2001, he was placed on a drug treatment program and vocational training in computer-aided drafting and design, which he began to teach other prisoners after excelling the course. Dahl was released from prison. I mean, his family has clearly, his family is a small business owner. It doesn't mean that they're fucking incredibly wealthy, but his company was bought in 2015 by the same holding company that owns Wonder Bread and Sunbeam. Oh. Yeah. Did you check a new French dog about COVID? No, man. Stop sending me the fucking like weirdo French conspiracy theory videos. They've had some access to capital, and that certainly probably helped in his rehabilitation process, but it doesn't matter. It's still a fucking great story. It's one that you should be proud of, honestly. This is exactly what I love. This is exactly what... Are you anti-French? No, of course not. I'm not anti-French. Anyway, we're going to get back to the fucking Bill Maher story right now. But, yeah, let's go back to shitting on Bill Maher.
Either write off half the country as irredeemable, or they can ask, what is it about a D next to a candidate's name that makes it so toxic? Let's ask Ruben Gallego. He's a congressman from Arizona, and he was asked how his Democrats could do a better job connecting to Latinos. He said, first, start by not using the term Latinx.
This is one of the few instances where the anti-cancel culture take, or like the anti-PC police take, is correct. I'm sorry. Latinx is not a favorable term to the Latino population. I'm not going to get too far into it. The only time I use it is if someone wants to use it themselves, or they themselves are Latinx or non-binary. Now, of course, this is a two-pronged problem. One is that it literally is a fucking X. Okay? So it's what, Latinx? Hanging out with some Latinx with my amiguekis. Like, the entire fucking language is gendered. You're a psychopath for doing this. Okay? Like, it is just like a gross and classic fucking cultural imperialist mindset that frustrates me. Now, not only that, but also on top of that, like, the second reason why it's, of course, not utilized is because it's supposed to be a gender neutral term and non-binary, and obviously non-binary and gender neutrality is not a concept that like the Latino population is woke on. Why the fuck would you expect them to be woke on it? No one is woke on that shit. So that's part of the reason why people don't use it. So that's the unfortunate side of it. I'm not saying that that's like a good thing or whatever. I'm saying that, like, of course, no matter what, trying to use like an additional gender neutral term, especially one that has a fucking X on the end of it, in a gendered language is going to be silly. I don't care that it was coined by a Puerto Rican woman. Like, it literally does not matter. Like, everyone always says, like, no, it wasn't white people or whatever, but like, it's still white culture shit, okay? It is. It 100% is white culture shit. Like, at the very least, you could have fucking made it Latine, okay? With an E on the end. You understand? That shit doesn't work. Like, it just, at least put a fucking E on the end of it and not a fucking X on the end of it. Okay? If you want to remove gender from a gendered language, then make it applicable to the fucking people that you're talking about. Okay? I don't give a shit if the person who came up with it is Puerto Rican or not. Which is why I say Latiner. White passing people trying to claim Latinos. This is kind of like, listen, this is kind of like fucking when like TERFs, before we even know what TERFs were, okay, like radfems would say women X, like they would put an X in the man part of women, or say like woman with a Y. It's some real fucking Tumblr shit right here. But like every single one of those people became TERFs, okay? Like literally all of those fucking people became TERFs. Like they were radfems not because they care about intersectionality, but they were radfems because they fucking hated men and in a very transphobic capacity considered trans women to be men. Sorry, trigger warning, by the way, to the trans folks in the audience. Trigger warning, I'm talking about TERFs. But like they literally all, like, it happened almost in unison. Like it went from like these people who were radfems who were at the forefront of like the conversation, like really fucking it up for intersectional activists, and they almost single-handedly fucking turned around and were like, oh yeah, we hate trans people too, by the way. Like anyway, so fuck TERFs, and also fuck Bill Maher, who literally platforms TERFs all the time. Anyway, but the Latinx thing is unfortunately correct for the two reasons that I stated. One, because it's fucking X, and literally no Hispanic or Latino agrees with it. It's like 3% or something. And two, because it is also trying to make Latino communities more gender aware, or more gender neutral aware. And that's always going to be a difficult endeavor, just like it's a difficult endeavor in every other community. So that's where it comes from. Anyway. We do use E instead of O and A. Yeah, no, I know.
I'm a Mexican on DACA. Latinx is the dumbest thing.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a very quick way to identify yourself as like, it's a quick way if you're using it and you're not even non-binary yourself, but it's like, low-key, it's kind of a quick way to fucking identify yourself as someone who like is a little bit out of touch. I still use it if I'm talking to a Latinx person and they want to be regarded this way. But I usually just say Latino, and if people get mad at me, I then go down this fucking insane rabbit hole of like shitting on the word Latinx every time. But it is like one area where I've always been very frustrated. And I say this as someone who had to learn the gender pronouns in English, because in my language, my first language, Turkish, there is no gender pronouns. It's gender neutral across the board. That's just how it is. So it's very difficult, and I fucking misgender people all the time, because I personally don't give a shit about gender pronouns at all, because like I just fuck it up. I don't know. Sometimes I say him or her, depending on who the fuck I'm talking to, without like thinking about it.
Icon Latinx is not widely used, but I also think this whole debate is stupid. Healthcare, please.
Anyway. So, yeah, first start by not using the term Latinx, but here's the other problem. Well, It's also about indigenous inclusion. Why do you always bash on the gender aspect? If anything, I would agree the Latino generational gap, just like any other ethnic group, there's less support. But because it doesn't captivate my chud tio, why should I just drop it? I mean, fucking use it if you want. What did I just say? If you are Latinx yourself and you want to be using that term and you want to continue like making it more popular, then go ahead. However, having said that, it's a fucking X on the end of it. So you're definitely a fucking American. Like you might have a Latino heritage, but you're clearly fucking American. Anyway, people from different countries don't like each other, like how no one likes Argentinians. Wrapping us into one group is a quick way to dislike the party. Yeah, I know. I talk about this too. Like South America is incredibly fucking diverse and runs into the same problems that we have in America, in NA. Problems with colorism, problems with racism, problems with indigenous genocide, and like and communities mixing with indigenous populations. Like all of those problems still exist. And then on top of that, you have geopolitical problems, geopolitical conflicts, and of course, classism to wrap it all up. So clearly, looking at the entire fucking Latino population and being like, this is what Latinos like, this is what Latinos don't like, is fucking silly. Like it's always been silly, and it clearly you just have never lived in Miami if you feel this way. That's all I'm gonna say. That's one of the first things I fucking learned was that, like, you know, Puerto Ricans hate Cubans, Cubans hate Puerto Ricans, a lot of people hate Mexicans and look down upon Mexicans probably because of classist distinctions. And everybody hates Dominicans, and everyone gets mad when you fucking try to guess what ethnicity that they might be from. Like, that's just fucking Florida. Like, that was one of the first things that I found out when I moved to America, because I lived in Miami. That was one of the first things I found out. Amigos, amigas, amigexes. Chat ignorant, Hasan accurate. Yeah, it's like saying all Asians are the same. Exactly. Like, people often just fail to remember that, like, if you're coming from your country where you are the hegemonic culture, like you are a beneficiary of being a part of the group that is like responsible for or owns the cultural dominance there, then you're gonna have some really fucking racist takes about other people as well. The only difference is just like, for the most part, white people just like they're racist across the board for everybody in different reasons, and they have had their tentacles and everything for far too long, historically speaking. But like, people always forget. Perks? Yeah, of course. Or by saying that all Slavic cultures are the same? Exactly. When they're all technically Ottoman culture. I'm just kidding. Don't get mad at me. It's a joke. It's a joke. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's keep going.
Which the vast majority of Latinos have never heard of, and when they do, don't like it. Who likes it? Pandering white politicians who mistake Twitter for real people and don't get it that Latinx is like fetch. You can try to make it happen, but it's never gonna.
Ay, ay, ay. It's just like, so bad, dude. You're like 70 years old, old man. It's like fetch. Like, this joke would not have even slapped in like 2007 or whatever this fucking movie came out. God damn, Bill. The fuck?
Virginia Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger said after the election, if we are classifying Tuesday as a success, we will get fucking torn apart in 2022. That's a congresswoman. She was urging members not to talk about defunding the police. James Clyburn agreed. Defund the police is killing our party, he said. Pennsylvania Democrat Connor Lamb says Democratic rhetoric needs to be dialed back. It needs to be rooted in common sense.
Yeah, common sense positions like we need to keep militarizing the police force, which is 84% Republican, by the way, and we need to ensure that they are unaccountable. That's the common sense position. The common sense position during slavery abolition was we should not free the slaves. That was the pragmatic position. I wish that we would just simply stop talking about freeing the slaves. This slavery abolition thing is just not common sense. It's not pragmatic. Please stop talking about the abolition of slavery. I don't understand why we're talking about it. That's crazy. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. This notion that like there is this mythical common sense out there, or this mythical common pragmatic position is out there, is so silly. It's so fucking silly, and it's so stupid. No one gives a shit about this liberal bullshit on representation, etc. Even the groups who nominally gain from focus on this shit, they care about what's in their pocket and what's right in front of them. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But that's the approach in that circumstance is supposed to be one that identifies classist struggles, problems that pertain to class. If you've ever talked to a regular fucking working class black person, there's plenty of them in my audience right now, or a regular working class fucking Latino person, or even a fucking student right now that comes from a working class family, they don't give a fucking shit. Your parents don't give a fuck about, like, you know, Latinx or like having a new show where the artists are actually fucking Latino. Like, they don't give a shit. It's like with fucking Shia LaBeouf, a story I talked about before with Shia LaBeouf. Like, he is obviously not Mexican. Like, but he played in a very shitty movie, apparently. I never watched it. But in a very shitty movie, like, he went and he got fucking tatted up and shit, and he was playing a debt collector. Is Shia LaBeouf Mexican, actually? I don't even know. Anyway, whatever. He got a whole ass chest tat for it and whatever. And he's playing a, what's his face? What's the word? Nobody watched it, but like, there was a conversation around it. Okay, there was a fucking conversation around yeah, he was playing a cholo. Okay, now people are gonna get mad at me and say, how can you use the word cholo? Shut the fuck up. Okay, so he was a loan shark, and he was like portraying himself as a Mexican and cholo, right? So Cholex. Anyway, when in the academic circles or in the media, people were like, how does that fucking happen? Like, I can't believe Shia LaBeouf is portraying himself as a Mexican. Like, this is fucking unacceptable. No one watched the movie regardless, but the fucking Latino people that I know, at least, and talk to, were fucking down as fuck about it. They loved that shit. They were like, this is fucking sick. Like, this is sick. Like, they love Shia LaBeouf. And I see this with my own fucking culture, okay? Turkish people, as long as the representation is making Turkish people look cool, okay? As long as it's not making Turkish people look like, you know, we're riding camels and shit, we fucking love that shit, okay? We're like, that's sick. I don't give a fuck if an American is portraying themselves as Turkish. Like, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't go and get a fucking Turkish actor to play this role. Like, shut up. Shut up. No, it's sick. It's sick that there's like cool representation of like a Turkish person being fucking badass, okay? That's what I usually go back to when I think about this sort of thing. And the people that do fucking complain about that stuff are people that are in the upper crust that have already figured out, as a consequence of escaping intergenerational poverty, are people that care about the more marginal takes in that circumstance. I'm not saying that representation does not fucking matter. Obviously it does. But it matters as long as it guides the perspective and it normalizes certain positions. It makes it easier for people to be recognized as like normal human beings and not like dehumanized stereotypical shells that they were portrayed as for a very long time. But ultimately All of that is insignificant if your fucking belly is not full and you don't have enough money in your goddamn pocket. Okay? That's it. That's the reality. You can call me a fucking class reductionist all you want. But all of this stuff that pertains to like hashtag Oscars so white, a lot of this stuff that people constantly talk about and litigate in the media are not necessarily impactful on the ground. Okay? Because it pertains to black people with a voice. Because it pertains to black people that have at least black people that have at least been able to uplift themselves and escape the consequences of systemic racism and reach a certain level so they get representation in the media, rather than the fucking poor black people in Alabama that don't have working sewage in their fucking neighborhoods. You think a dude living in a fucking Alabama suburb that literally smells like shit because they have to have septic tanks that are overflowing because the government won't fucking put a goddamn sewage system in their neighborhood. You think that person gives a fuck about the Green Book or whatever the fuck is going on in the Oscars? No, that person just wants a fucking sewage system. Your counter argument sounds like an overextended, I'm not racist, my friends are black, I have black friends. No. Okay. You can say I'm racist. You can say I don't understand. You can say that this is like actually what's important. Go off kings and queens. Okay. And non-binary themperors if you want. Okay. Go off. Do you. But this shit doesn't play well. And the Democratic Party is losing ground with Latino communities. And the Democratic Party is even losing ground with black voters. And I'm not even just saying like black voters are going and voting for the Republicans, right? Even though Donald Trump did fucking increase his black support. I don't know how the fuck he did that. But they're just not going to vote. They're just not going to vote. And then you can fucking cry about why they're not voting over and over again and like keep fucking wagging your finger at like black people in Flint, motherfucking Michigan, when under the Obama administration, they found out that they had fucking corroded pipes. Okay? They had corroded pipes because of lead poisoning, where an entire generation of black children had IQ points removed. Like literally fucking an entire generation of black kids from Flint, Michigan, as a consequence of lead poisoning, are held back. You understand? That's fucking systemic racism. That's environmental racism. These are very real concepts. And it happened under a Democratic administration where Barack Obama went there, got booed out of that fucking room when he picked up bottled water that was poured into a glass and drank it in front of them. So disrespectful. And that shit is still not fixed. They're building new pipes. They're building new infrastructure. But what about the pipes inside the houses? Those are still fucking corroded. They need to be repaired. They need to be fucking, they need to fix the pipes inside of the houses as well. Not even the fucking street pipes, not even the fucking infrastructure. The entire thing needs to be ripped apart and rebuilt. That's an opportunity for jobs, by the way, for the record. Just pointing that out too. Okay? So then you can wag all your finger all you want or say, oh, it's because we're too woke. I'm not a fucking idiot. I don't think it's because the Democrats are too fucking woke. But I do hate the fact that Democrats, in a lot of circumstances, don't actually fucking focus on the kitchen table issues, or don't actually focus on how you will help people specifically in these communities that desperately need help. Even if you're not going to do it from a fucking moral point of view because you feel like that's what good leaders are supposed to do, okay? Then you should do it because you want to fucking win and because you don't want to lose to these goddamn ghouls on the Republican side. They literally said the same thing to Lincoln about the abolitionists. New York Times covering abolitionist movement in 1859. They are as rancorous and as abusive as if they were on the point of utter annihilation. Their speeches sound more like ravings of bedlamites than the utterances of men seeking the accomplishment of a practical object. Now, this gets a little confusing for some people, okay? Like, what is Hasan's point of view? Because we're so used to seeing people that fit this like comfortable ideological window that has been shaped by your mainstream consumption for the most part. Like, am I an anti-woke, anti-SJW person? No, of course not. Because I do understand that representation to a certain degree still matters. It just can't be the end-all be-all. Okay? I get that. Okay? I completely understand that. But it shouldn't be the only thing you're fucking advocating for. My opinion always has been, for example, in a country where people are racist, transphobic, homophobic, misogynistic as a consequence of social conditioning, intersectionality is a necessity. Having said that, though, the way you bring about solidarity is by trying to impact as many people as possible. And the best way to do that is by designing your messaging around class. And then once you give people something, because voting is supposed to be transactional, then you're supposed to turn around and say, yeah, shut the fuck up. Trans people are getting healthcare too. If you don't like it, you can suck my fucking dick. You want healthcare? Undocumented immigrants are going to get it too. You're a fucking idiot if you say no to healthcare just because you think it's like fucked up that undocumented immigrants are getting it. Fuck you. You're gonna get that fucking free healthcare whether you like it or not, bitch. You racist bitch. Fuck you. I hate to do this, but if the halls of academia were so successful, then we would have Elizabeth Warren as president, which, by the way, I would love over Joe Biden. Don't get me wrong. I would love that. She was the one that every notable progressive black person on Twitter hyped up like crazy. Not talking about black leftists, obviously. They loved her. So what happened? Why did she captivate 0% of the fucking black vote? There's a multitude of different issues there, but yeah, social justice is super important, but we need to reframe it to be ancillary to economic justice. It's dumb to allocate our angers from something like Gal Gadot playing Cleopatra to fixing rampant economic inequality. It'll help capture working class white voters too. Yeah, you need to capture working class white voters. This notion that like there's not going to be any allyship between working class white voters is a silly one. It's a defeatist one. Like you have to get them on board. There's more of them than anybody else. Just the fucking truth. I find a hypocritical leftists like Hasanabi called the IQ test race, then point a lower IQ of Flint residents to support their agenda. Which is it? The IQ test race, or will you finish DS3? That's a good bait. That's a good debate. But no, the IQ test is fucking idiotic. But it's the same idiotic IQ test that that the same black residents have taken, and then at least the IQ test in that circumstance is adjusted. I'm not saying that like it's lower because of like their genetics or anything. I'm saying that it's lower in comparison to what the previous IQ test results look like as a consequence of lead poisoning. Why Bernie over Warren then, you cuck? What do you mean, why Bernie over Warren? I think Bernie Sanders is better. Anyway, how do you plan on getting working class chuds in rural America when most of their voting is based on Christianity and stuff like that? Tailor your message around them. But most importantly, organize. Like, a lot of those chuds used to fucking vote Democrat. And the reason why they used to vote Democrat is because their unions told them to vote Democrat because they at least had fucking unions. I didn't ask to be born in this shit country in the poverty America. 70 million Americans can lick me. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Let's finish this fucking Bill Maher.
Thank you. Thank you. There, in my opinion, is the crux of the problem. Democrats too often don't come across as having common sense to a huge swath of Americans. And these are people who believe in QAnon.
Oh, also, top of the hour, every hour, 6-second ad break. If you want to avoid the ads, all you need to do is subscribe with a Twitch Prime for free or with a regular Amazon subscription for $5. But 6-second ad break coming to you right now. And then I'm going to go grab another coffee, too. Here.
But as I've said before, politics in this country is binary. You have to wear everything anyone on your side does. Republicans are the party of don't wear masks, kids in cages, lock her up, and Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior, woke bullshit story in the news. They're the party that disappears people or tries to make them apologize for ridiculous things. Anne Hathaway apologized last week because in her new movie she plays a witch, a fictional character that has 3 claw-like fingers, and that's offensive to people with limb differences.
Listen, this is marginal edge cases that fucking privileged, psychopathic Hollywood libtards fucking hyper focus on. Okay? This is not a real story. If you run with that, if you go to fucking Omaha and you ask people like, well, who did you vote for? Well, Omaha's not the greatest example because, you know, but if you go to fucking a part of like Wyoming or some shit and you're like, why are you voting for the Republican? They're not going to turn around and be like, because Anne Hathaway should have 3 fingers and these fucking libtards want to take that away from me. I want to watch my video. Like, that's not real, dude. That's not a fucking real thing. That doesn't guide people's fucking point of view. Shut the fuck up. This is what fucking frustrates me about this idiotic take. This is a nonsensical, moronic fucking position that some activists have that literally no one knows or cares about. Okay? That it doesn't guide your view. The only reason why this guides your fucking point of view is if you have nothing else to worry about. If nothing else fucking bothers you.
Boris
Okay?
Johnson self-isolating after
Now,
COVID
not
contact.
only that, but what is deeply infuriating to me is the fact that he went and said Republicans are the party of concentration camps and Democrats are the party of
Unbelievable.
disability activists. Are you fucking insane? How can these 2 words come out of your mouth in succession? Like, how can you literally say that? Like, as though those 2 sides are even remotely comparable. Yeah, some disability activists are maybe hyper focusing on that because that's their fucking world. They want to make their world better. Why the fuck would you ever in a fucking million years ever make that comparison? What do I always say? Yeah, some people come across as hysterical or emotional or even ridiculous for that matter. And there are certainly some ridiculous takes on the left where they hyper focus on like very, very specific grievances. Okay? I think there's a multitude of reasons as to why people do this. I think partially because it comes from a selfish place for the most part. It comes from a lack of materialist analysis in their rhetoric or in their worldview. Okay? But it doesn't matter because they're still on the progressive side. And to compare fucking, I don't know, some disability activist on Twitter fucking saying like this is fucked up against lesser limbed people, comparing them to people who are like, yeah, we need to put fucking Mexican babies in cages. Like, that's nuts, dude. You're a disgusting person. Like, if you make that comparison, or if you don't immediately follow that up by there seems to be a gigantic imbalance here with what the left or what the Democratic Party focuses on versus what Republicans fucking focus on. Okay? No one cares about this regardless, though. The people who care about SJW grievances are not the SJWs themselves. They are the anti-SJWs. I have friends. I have friends who are slowly but surely radicalizing a little bit on the internet. Well, not friends, but I have one friend who I have like literally tracked his personal journey. I talk to him every day. And I've seen him, like, because of some personal issues, slightly turn reactionary. And I try to fucking talk to him to try to stop him from going that way. No, it's not Will. It's not Austin. You don't know who this person is. Okay? Stop trying to guess it. And I try to fight back every day. And I have this conversation with him. He cares more about SJW shit than fucking SJWs do. I'm a progressive. I didn't know about this. Why the fuck do you know about this? Why the fuck are you bringing this up? It's crazy. The only people, stop saying cow. It's not XQ cow. It's not. It's not a, guys, it's not a fucking Twitch streamer. Please stop. It's so dumb. It's so silly. If you see something that's marginal, why the fuck are you focusing on it when, like, no one else gives a shit, okay?
Hassan, did you ever fix your AdSense from when you looked at your YouTube with Ludwig?
The week before, the NHL's Arizona Coyotes dropped a player after it came out in the press that when he was in 8th grade, he bullied a disabled kid. Yes, that's a bad thing to do. But are we really going after people for what they did in middle school now?
Yeah, this shit sucks ass. Again, it sucks ass. It's marginal, but it's fucking ridiculous. Like, it is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's not indicative of how the Democratic Party is or how it should be operating. But the real reason why people fucking look at this, the real reason why people fucking focus on this as though it is not the entire story. He literally beat a disabled kid's head into a wall. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Coyote story was way worse than Bill Maher just made it out to be. The story about the hockey kid, that story was actually a terrible hate crime. That kid made a disabled African-American child lick a lollipop that was placed in a urinal, and then the player called the kid the N-word. Okay, now I have to fucking look at this stupid fucking story. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh. Arizona NHL team drops the top draft pick accused of racist bullying. The Arizona Coyotes knew that the player Mitchell Miller had been convicted of abusing a black classmate. On Friday, Miller's college team dropped him too. Arizona Coyotes it was also only 4 years ago. That doesn't matter to me. What matters is like what he has done since then. Listen. Here's the reality. Okay? If he did this shit, this horrific shit, when he was 14 years old, people are going to get mad at me. But if he did this shit when he was fucking 14 years old, and he even like served a sentence as a consequence of it, 4 years ago, it doesn't matter. If he served a sentence and he fucking turned around and he's made himself better, then I don't think he should be fucking, I don't think he should be getting brutalized for it still. If he doubled down on it, then yeah, no, fuck you. Everyone thinks he's so cool that he gets to go to the NHL, but I don't see how someone can be cool when you pick on someone and bully someone your entire life. Okay, I want to see the apology part of this. He refused to apologize.
Also, congrats on the article.
Shit take, fuck you. What is a shit take? Mill and the other students were charged with 2 misdemeanors, one for violating Ohio's Safe Schools Act and one for assault. They were sentenced to 25 hours of community service and ordered to write an apology through the court system to participate in counseling and pay court costs. Miller has not personally apologized to Maher Crothers, the victim's family told the Republic. Maher Crothers and his mother also told the Republic that the Coyotes never contacted their family before the draft. On Thursday, Maher Crothers told the New York Times the Coyotes had called her earlier in the day. The CEO and GM apologized and it was heartfelt. She said in the text message, "My only comments on the whole situation is that it's very sad." Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Stop picking and choosing Bill Maher's fucking points. You're a D-bag for saying, "Oh yeah, not that big of a deal." Okay, well, I didn't know the fucking situation. I'm looking at it from the point of view that Bill Maher made it seem like, where it was like some gentle fucking bullying when he was in middle school. I don't know how old the guy is. I immediately looked into it and I'm clarifying my position. Okay? What do you want me to do? The left has been memed into the party of blue-haired SJWs only talking about marginal social issues when in reality the left used to be a group of collective strength and power. This is why the left can win in places like South, for instance. Chuds believe this propaganda and work on their own disinterest. Gentle bullying. You know what I mean? Like fucking light bullying. Man, I was bullied fucking relentlessly, okay? When I was growing up. I know how fucking traumatic that shit can be. When do so many hockey fans get in here, know all the details about this story? Yeah. The left-wing news keeps talking about these pointless fringe issues, said Mr. Bill Newsman on his left-wing news show. Yeah. While you were getting coffee, Bill Maher implied that Louis C.K. shouldn't have been canceled. Fuck that. Yeah, I don't know what you mean, LMAO. As a Jew, it's rarely light. Man, there's videos that if you wanted to find, like I've used a cell phone video of me getting fucking beaten up by my classmates in high school and like crying in one of my videos where I talked about bullying. No, like I definitely know what bullying is like. Bully's a piece of shit. He bullied and harassed the kids for years after middle school. You can fucking get mad at me for saying gentle bullying all you want. You know what I mean when I say fucking, like, it just, you know what? Fucking cancel me, dude. All right, there you go. Yeah, gentle bullying. Cancel me, okay? There you go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Cancel me. Fuck off. I don't care. You are exactly what I'm annoyed by all the time. Yeah, like name calling versus like physical fucking violence.
Mission accomplished. Tarzan has been cancelled.
Yeah, I didn't. It would not be bullying a mentally disabled kid into linking a piss-stained lollipop is not what I would consider to be in the category of bullying that is regarded as like serious and detrimental. All bullying is bad, but obviously there's a variation. I called the New York Times. They're taking the prince off the stands. Anyway, where were we? I know the light bullying still weighs on my mind. Yeah, mine too. Can we just get through one video? Yeah, him not apologizing to the fucking family or the kid, and instead apologizing to the teams, personally, is definitely indicative that like he does not give a shit. Like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, dude. Like, I don't know what to make of this, but I wish that these people would. I wish that you wouldn't do this sort of thing, or if you did this sort of thing, you would then turn around and be like, I was a fucking horrible person in my past and I need to do better and I've learned from it. Especially after you fucking went to court. You know what I mean? Please correct yourself. You said forcing a gentle... what? Okay. Please correct yourself. You said forcing a disabled kid to lick a urinal cake is gentle. No, I didn't. And also, you're now banned permanently from the chat. I did not do that. If that's your fucking take, then... I don't... Wait, did I say it accidentally or something? What do you mean? Oh, I misspoke? Okay, well, you're a fucking moron.
Hey friend, just want to say
you did accidentally. I misspoke. Yeah,
really
obviously, I don't think that it's fucking
really
gentle
hard to
bullying.
find the motivation to finish this semester of college. I ended up getting the Rona from work, and you've helped a lot. Thanks, brother.
No, I'm not unbanning him. Fuck that person. There you go. That's some bullying for you. Don't test me right now, motherfuckers. Don't test me. Let's keep going.
Came out in the press that when he was in 8th grade, he bullied a disabled kid. Yes, that's a bad thing to do. But are we really going after people for what they did in middle school now?
Yeah, middle school, which was 4 years ago, and something that they never fucking apologized for. What if you murder someone in middle school? Let's say you fucking murdered someone in middle school and you don't feel sad about it at all right now. Is that okay? Like, I don't get it. Like, that's a silly take. It just completely depends on what you do and how you respond to it afterwards, okay?
Democrats already lost seats for going after what Brett Kavanaugh did in high school.
It's not a flip-flop, you fucking moron. Like, if you don't understand how I feel about torture once I have more information on it, like torturing a fucking disabled person and not showing remorse for it, and then I flip-flopped on that because I didn't fucking know that it was literal torture. There's a good, that's a long-time community member with a permanent. Thank you. 100% a flip-flop. Guys,
Pog has buff.
If I don't know the actual thing that happened and I'm working off of what Bill Maher is saying, and then I look further into it and obviously change my position, that means I'm a normal human being. That I'm not. Would you rather me keep fucking defending a position that I should not hold, that I do not hold, once I have more information on the matter? Is that what you would like me to do? Is that what you would want? You want me to just fucking double down on stupid takes? What a bunch of fucking morons, dude. If anything, you should be celebrating the fact that, oh, once I got additional clarification, now I know what actually happened, and I do think that it's not as defensible of a position as the way Bill Maher is portraying it as. That's precisely why Bill Maher is portraying it as something that is not as significant, okay? I don't understand what you want from me. Do you want me to double down on a position that I do not have? What do you want from me? Changing your mind after being introduced to more information is not flip-flopping. Yeah. It's so weird. It's a really weird fucking take from chat.
School. Common sense. Last year I read about how NBC helped.
Did he just say that Brett Kavanaugh caused Democrats
bullied a disabled kid? Yes, that's a bad thing to do. But are we really going after people for what they did in middle school now? Democrats already lost seats for going after what Brett Kavanaugh did in high school.
I'm so confused by this take. What is he trying to say? But you doubled down on banning that guy after realizing he was right about the fact that you misspoke? No, I should be banning even more people for even saying that, like, I think torturing a disabled kid is gentle bullying. If we're being honest. Like, not just that guy. The rest of the people who were saying, like, no, you didn't misspeak, you actually meant that, is certainly something that I'm truly annoyed by. You should know better. It went from gentle bullying that not the most detrimental or something like this. You didn't misspoke. I think Chad is trying to bully you. He admits that Kavanaugh is a rapist, but thinks that should not be disqualifying for the Supreme Court. But you literally did say it, even if you didn't mean it. Just be honest and not rude about it, man. There you go. Well, if you're... Listen. I do not care about banning these people like that. And the reason why I do not care about banning people like that is because they are exactly what I do hate about leftists and progressives. The people that hyper focus on like very marginal things. And you do this, and every now and then I purge a bunch of racist people, and I also purge a bunch of people that are like just in it for the ego, just in it for the personal self-fulfillment. When you understand what the position is, and you understand what's going on there, and you still want to agitate, and you still want to stun lock me, then yeah, of course you're going to get fucking clapped. Sorry. Because you're not really in it for anything but just getting your rocks off and showing everybody how fucking how personally invested in a social justice cause you are. This is something that really frustrates me. And there have been plenty of people in this community in the past that have told me I was wrong to do this, that I was too hard on the left, and that I shouldn't fucking correct people that want to call me out for marginal shit. But I think I'm right. I think that there's a delicate balance that we need to toe all the time. Obviously not allowing racism or bigotry to continue in this community, but also not fucking also not working to like own someone. You know what I mean? Especially when you know they're on your side. If this frustrates you, doesn't it do the same for liberal edge voters? The point is, even if you were going to be horrific like this, if you, at the very least, focus on giving people more money and helping them with their own personal issues, financial issues specifically, okay, then they wouldn't give a shit about this, because this stuff is marginal.
Common sense. Last year I read about how NBC held an emergency meeting to determine if Mario Lopez should be fired from his job at Access Hollywood. I thought, holy shit, did he sexually assault somebody? No, he went on a podcast, and when the host brought up the trend of liberal parents letting toddlers pick their gender identity, he said, my God, if you're 3 years old and you're saying you think you're a boy or a girl, I just think it's dangerous as a parent to make that determination. Cue the groveling apology.
But parents do make that determination. Wait. Isn't that literally... Wait, isn't that kind of woke? Because, like, one way or the other, parents are literally the one making that determination. Whether they're like, no, the gender identity assigned to you at birth is the correct one, shut the fuck up. Or if they're saying, oh, no, like, we will allow you, we will listen to you, and we'll allow you, we'll help you along this process. Like, in both cases, parents are still playing a role in making that determination. You can either make it easy for people, for kids, to acknowledge their gender identity, or you can just say, no, fuck that. I don't want that. Also, why the fuck is this prominent leftist using the Daily Wire as a news source? This shit fucking pisses me off. But the kid is 3, right? Man, these are fucking insane edge cases. I'm sorry. I don't even know which specific story this one pertains to, but there's every fucking 5 months or 6 months, there's a local news story that goes to a goddamn Portland couple's house whose children are named like, Robinette with a fucking Y and an X in it. And then they're like, yeah, actually, we've decided that, like, we're letting our child only consume fair trade organic resources and have decided, like, at the age of 3 what gender they are. Like, who cares? It's not like a fucking... There is no, like, government mandate where everyone is like... there is no government mandate at a gunpoint where it's like, no, we're fucking forcibly feminizing your boys. Like, it doesn't work that way. Okay? That's not a... This is not a real fucking cause for concern. This is the most Hasan moment right now. It's taking 45 minutes to watch 5 minutes of an 8-minute video. Yeah. At one point, are they no longer edge cases? Oh, like when you didn't beat Nameless King? Yeah. This is highly controversial because dumbasses think toddlers get hormones in these scenarios, which never happens. And when it does, it's wrong. Toddlers don't get fucking hormones, dude. They get, if anything, younger kids under the age of 18 get blockers, which is reversible. And also, nobody's getting fucking bottom surgery, okay, before the age of 18. Like, it doesn't work that way. So I don't know what the fuck these people are freaking out about. The point is, what you should be doing is actually talking about what the fuck is happening, rather than feeding in or taking in the hook, line, and sinker reactionary fucking point of view that is angled in a way deliberately to make it seem like this is insane. Okay? To make it seem like this is insane, and then going off of that. Just like I did earlier when Bill Maher made it seem like some kid was, I don't know, calling someone names in fucking middle school, and like 10 years, 20 years later is getting fired from their fucking job for it. Because that's the way he made it seem, when that wasn't the fucking case. So it's very easy to fall into these sorts of narratives, or to fall into these sorts of fucking misguided rabbit holes. So in that circumstance, what you should do is look into it a little bit further before you decide to make your mind up on it. You said you originally thought it was gentle bullying because of how Bill framed it. Chat trolled you? Yeah, I know. Good troll from the chat. Just so you don't say the wrong thing, I got hormones at 14. Yeah, no, I know. Oh, you mean like actual HRT? I thought you only got, like, under the age of 18. I thought you only got like hormone blockers first to see to see if you are more comfortable that way with your gender identity, and then you can move on from that. But the entire fucking process isn't like, oh hey, I want fucking hormones, and then the doctor's like, okay. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, there is an entire fucking psychological psych treatment process leading up to that, and it's not happening to 3-year-olds. Yeah, if you've already been through puberty, hormone blockers won't do anything. Move the goalposts. This is one of those reactionary fucking actual reactionaries who behaves, who acts like just because they're fucking Marxist-Leninists, they can get away with shitting on sex workers and shitting on trans people. That's a permanent ban. Do not try to get unbanned. I will not unban you.
Followed by America.
Maz, do not unban that motherfucker. I know for a fact, I know exactly who that person is. Do not unban that person.
Is saying, yeah, I think Mario's right. Maybe kids shouldn't make big life decisions while you still need to make choo-choo noises to get the food in their mouth.
yeah, that would be a fucking ridiculous point of view because it doesn't happen.
I can do this all day. Cite stories, big and small, that are endlessly on people's news feeds, that add up to a constant drip, drip, drip of these people are nuts. Everybody heard about that story out of San Francisco about a guy who got on a crowded elevator with a female professor, and when she asked what floor, he said, women's lingerie. You know, a little joke, for which he earned a formal complaint because it left her.
The only issue that I have even personally changed my mind on, and this is going to fucking frustrate a bunch of people, but the only circumstance in which, like, I have changed my mind on, like, cancel culture or have a different approach to is the Al Franken case. The Al Franken case is clouded with so much misinformation, and I don't know why he's not talking about that, actually, where the dude literally with a I don't know the lingerie joke, but the Al Franken case was about him and a Fox News contributor, comedian, like ex-comedian, when they were doing their fucking tours. There was a bit that they would do, okay, where I think he was like fondling her or some shit, and over a Kevlar vest that she was wearing, Al Franken fucking takes a photo of him like fondling her, but not really fondling her, just like acting out basically the same fucking bit that they have done. And it's weird. Yeah, there's a pic of it. Okay? There's absolutely a fucking pic of it. And at the time, Roy Moore was happening in Alabama. And there was a fuckload of information coming out about Roy Moore, who was not allowed to go to the same mall. Yeah, he wasn't even fucking touching her. It's not even a fucking doing a fake booby grab over her while I think she's sleeping. She's sleeping. He's doing a fake boob grab. She's got a Kevlar vest on. And also, he's not even fucking touching her. He's hover-handing in the joke. And it's literally a recreation of a fucking bit that they used to do on stage. Okay? Now, I don't think Al Franken is a fucking progressive icon. He's a little bit more progressive than the average Democrat, but overall, he's still a fucking establishment Democrat. He sucks. Okay? Why does it matter what she's wearing? Because if you're literally fucking touching a titty, that's entirely different than like acting like you're touching a fucking Kevlar vest. What do you mean? A bullet can't penetrate it. What makes you think your fucking fingers are going to? Anyway. So the right used that as an opportunity to reframe the narrative to make it seem like Roy Moore was not that big of a deal and you should vote for Roy Moore, and that Democrats are hypocritical because Al Franken is a serial sexual assaulter. Not only that, but when that fucking came out, other people came out and said, oh, he touched my ass when we took a photo. The lady who originally said, I think it's inappropriate that Al Franken took this photo while I was sleeping, then said he apologized and I accept his apology. We didn't even talk about that. No one even fucking heard about that. That was not even a thing that was covered at all.
Fun day.
Okay. Wait, is this the photo? Wasn't even her ass. Yes, someone said Al Franken touched my hip. Oh, here it is. Here is the fucking photo. This is the photo. Democrats turned around. Democrats turned around. It's creepy. This is creepy as shit because she's sleeping, especially. And these sorts of like rape adjacent sexual assault jokes still normalize sexual assault, right? This was used as a fucking counter to Roy Moore. As a counter to fucking Roy Moore, who was serially sexually abusing, allegedly, children to the degree where the local police did not allow him to go to the mall. Like, he was not allowed to go to the mall because he would pick up kids at the mall. They turned around. They were like, this is the equivalent. Meanwhile, they still advocated to vote for fucking Roy Moore. This was the most impactful thing that Kirsten Gillibrand did in Congress, was lead the cause of Al Franken's ousting. He was literally pushed out of the party for this. Stop getting suckered into the both sides are bad narrative. I myself personally was also suckered into the both sides are similar or bad. This is one of those circumstances. This is absolutely one of those fucking circumstances where he's terrible. I don't fucking give a shit about Al Franken personally. Fuck him. Oh yeah, actually, Gillibrand also did a lot for sexual assault in the military. You're right. I'm being fucking annoying. That's true. They literally are LMAO, but one is just worse than the other. Just because one is worse doesn't mean that the other isn't bad. Bro.
Hi, Hassan.
It's like if I got in a fight with my brother and I punched him and I ran for Congress and got a seat and like, we're fine now. Okay? We're fine now. And he literally accepts my apology and like another senator literally murdered someone and never had a jail sentence. And you're saying, well, both are bad, so he should be fucking fired. You want to know how this is not even anywhere remotely in the same fucking category as what we're talking about? Because I can't show you photos of what Roy Moore may or may not have done to fucking children. Because that would get me banned off the platform. Surprising that, like, Bill Maher did not mention this, by the way. Very weird. Because that is one case where, like, it's much worse than a sibling fight. Really? She doesn't seem to think so. She literally was like, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. So why do you think that that's that big of a deal when she personally doesn't? This was a fucking Fox News commentator, too.
It would be hard for Murat to land a punch back since your head is so small. Dank hug.
Yeah, it's like N-word isn't worse, curse argument. What do you mean? From Eve to Aristotle to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, a brief history of looking at half the population and assuming the worst. It's a big deal that he did it without knowing how she feel about it. True. The problem here is that he does not have her consent. The problem, and if I'm going to look at the situation, in that circumstance, the big issue is that he's like, one, portraying sexual assault, because normally inappropriate touching is that's what that is. Okay? A violation of someone's bodily autonomy.
Because you're good enough,
but it could literally be stemming from the point that, well, one, it definitely comes from misogyny. That's one reason why you overlook these sorts of things. But two, it could also be that you fail to fucking recognize. You fail to fucking recognize and comprehend how close you are with this other person. 8 accusations and you think there was nothing there? It was literally fucking touching someone's hip. This is the one who said the photo surfacing, they're pretending to grab Tweeden's breast as he was sleeping while clothed. The senator apologized for the photo, but said, you remember the skit incident differently? That's the one that said Leanne Tweeden, which doesn't get featured in the fucking article as like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Lindsay Menz says Franken grabbed their buttocks when the pair posed for a photo at the Minnesota State Fair. Franken later said he did not remember taking the picture, but felt bad that Menz felt disrespected. Two other unidentified women told HuffPost that Franken grabbed their buttocks at separate events in 2007 and 2008. One of the women said Franken suggested that he should go to the bathroom together. Franken said he did not remember the events and denied asking anyone. Stephanie Kemp, an Army veteran, like, is this your fucking foolproof argument? This airtight argument, dude? The person who literally like started this fucking firestorm of accusations that came out after it literally said it wasn't that big of a deal. Other people did not pursue or prosecute or and there's obviously different reasons for it, but because a lot of times victims of sexual assault get fucking obliterated in the media, and I certainly do understand that. But like, this isn't a random fucking person. This isn't a random fucking person. This is like a coworker. Stephanie Kemp, an Army veteran, says Franken put his hands on her breast during a USO tour. In a statement following that accusation, Franken's office said he is not intentionally engaged in that kind of describe. A woman described as a former elected official in New England told the Jezebel website that Franken tried to give her a wet, open-mouthed kiss during an event in 2006. The senator has not appeared to respond specifically to that allegation. An unnamed former Democratic congressional aide told Politico that the senator tried to forcibly kiss her after he taped a radio show. She says she avoided the kiss and then heard Franken say it's my right as an entertainer. Franken called the allegation categorically not true. Tina Dupuy writes in The Atlantic that Franken put his hands around her waist while the pair posed for a photo. Like all the ones that are fucking legitimate claims coming from a specific incident are all like him fucking doing the same fucking shit that Joe Biden does, which is unacceptable across the board. Okay? It's still not fucking acceptable. But you have to look into it a little bit further, man. Like, I'm sorry. And ultimately, it still does not fucking change the reality that this was weaponized by Republicans. This was weaponized by fucking Republicans, started by a Fox News commentator who herself personally fucking said, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. I accept the apology. Let's, it's fine. So you agree that what he did was bad because he didn't know how she'd feel about it, but think that the Dems should have ignored it for political expediency? This part of your point is muddled. I think that what Al Franken did in this circumstance warrants an investigation. Okay? It warrants a fucking investigation. Jezebel, the bastion of good journalism. Like, this is, yeah, have you ever beat up a boyfriend? Because we have. Oh, don't start with me on Jezebel shit, please. I don't even want to fucking get into this rabbit hole. Good to also consider these things don't happen in a vacuum. Hindsight is great for judging, but when you're taking a photo with someone you may not think that placing a hand on the waist is bad or had a bad implication. I mean, there's a fucking entire meme on the internet about hover handing people. Like, even if you are to consider this specifically, Al Franken had to resign because of this. Meanwhile, Republicans let pedos run for the Senate and get fucking actually advocated for. Did you realize you are conditioning the chat to pile on bad takes on you, primarily responding to those overalls? Unless you purposely do that for content, 5 head if so. Yeah. The investigation conducted into Al Franken didn't even find anything, but he resigned. He resigned. And it, in my opinion, it created a situation in which Al Franken very explicitly asked for an investigation before he was suspended and then pressured to resign. Yeah, them leadership pressured him to resign. Also, love that Mike Bloomberg is embraced by the Dems after this. Yeah, that's the other fucking annoying part about this is that, like, what about the female representative from LA? I think that's a better example. She ran out of the party for a work relationship. That one is a little bit more difficult to parse through than this circumstance. She was pushed out of the party, and people made it seem like this was a feminist cause. But overall, I think what she did was, like, actually, what did Katie Hill do? Like, there was more details than just like it was just a relationship. One of her staffers literally took control of her Twitter account and like talked about finally how while a movie was being made about her, one of her staffers came out and said that like she was abusive to all of them. But I don't know enough about it. Congress, after facing allegations of inappropriate sexual relations, but it was Republicans again, by the way. She involved her staffers in her sexual activities. Are you in a bad mood today? Yes, I'm in a bad mood now. No, it's not okay when women do it either. Shut the fuck up. That's not what I'm saying at all. Where is it? Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's taking a hardline sexual harassment case, said that Hill made the right decision in stepping down. What was the fucking accusations, though? She was under investigation by the House Ethics Committee for allegations of improper sexual relationship with a male congressional staffer, a claim she denied. Hill admitted and apologized for inappropriate relationship with a female campaign staffer earlier this week. Yeah, she was both with her male and female staffers. She had been involved. Anyway, let's keep going. The issue here is not about the severity of the questionable actions, it's about the selective enforcement of politicians merely for political gains. Yes, that's the frustrating part about it. That is the most frustrating element of this story. That's what fucking pisses me off. Because, like, this was 100% fucking weaponized at a time when Republicans wanted to weaponize this against Democrats to make it seem like they're hypocrites for defending Al Franken. And Democrats took that hook, line, and sinker and forced Al Franken to resign without an investigation. All right, let's keep
Everybody
going.
heard about that story out of San Francisco about a guy who got on a crowded elevator with a female professor, and when she asked what floor, he said, women's lingerie. You know, a little joke, for which he earned a formal complaint because it left her shaken. Shaken? Who are these jellyfish? Like the woman who almost derailed Biden's campaign because he kissed the back of her head before she went out to make a speech.
Okay, dude. Joe Biden had way more than just that. Come on, Bill. Jesus fucking Christ, please be honest.
Her brain couldn't process what was happening. Really? Your brain couldn't process that? Like string theory or wormholes? An old man was trying to show support in his old man way. She said she was embarrassed, shocked, confused. Well, then the outside world isn't for you.
Yeah, of course Bill Maher's going to be like, yeah, you're going to get kissed inappropriately by people. Come on, dude. Come on. Like, oh, that's crazy.
2 hours for 30K.
The real victim of Katie Hill was the female interns. Katie's ex-husband sent news they had to the Sun or the Daily Mail or something.
And certainly running the world isn't.
He's not talking about
I talked to a guy in the Midwest once who told me this story about the day he went out to get his car in the supermarket parking lot, but couldn't back out because a mother and her very young daughter were standing behind his car, which was next to their car, which had a Hillary bumper sticker on it. And the little girl was screaming at her mother, who was profusely apologizing to the child. And he said to me, I just can't let people like that take over this country. That's what people vote on, not policy. Democrats kept saying in the campaign, you can't possibly think Trump is preferable to what we're selling. And many voters keep saying, yes, we can. In fact, our primary
I love that Bill Maher, at the heart of the issue, is like criticizing the Democratic Party, which is true and right, and we should do more of that. And the Democratic Party should be held accountable and should get better at messaging itself and adopting actually progressive ideas and actual policies that will help people. But then focuses his entire fucking segment on edge cases and basically shitting on virtually everything, like a reactionary right winger, saying that like the Democrats focus exclusively on being woke and social justice and whatnot, without actually talking about issues that matter, that would help people.
Reason voting for him is to create a bulwark against you, because your side thinks silence is violence and looting is not. Because you're the party of chasing speakers off college campuses and making everyone walk on eggshells.
This is not even a fucking thing. Like, the only reason why this is a thing is because right-wingers have turned this into a thing. Remember, this is cultural grievance politics that Republicans are merchants of for the most part. You understand? It's that, like, it's 2005 all over again. Bill Maher relitigating shit from 2015, 2016. For the past 4 fucking years, we've had Donald Trump in office, and they still try to do that. If you remember, because I've been covering the news, I've been covering the fucking news for this entire process, so I'm very familiar. In the beginning stages of Trump's presidency, they still tried to go with this. They still tried to be like, well, you know, Donald Trump's doing a Muslim ban, but also, like, look at these fucking Antifa. They're so violent. They're so violent. So they're so violent. Right? They kept saying, like, Antifa's the real problem. Even when Donald Trump was the fucking president. And why did that shit go away? Well, that shit went away because we realized, like, oh, there's some bigger fucking problems here than, like, random college freshmen getting upset that someone like Ben Shapiro is coming to their fucking college campus, and or someone like Milo Yiannopoulos is not only coming to your college campus, but also outing trans students and opening up trans students to harassment. Just a sea of fucking harassment. It's disgusting. Okay? It's absolutely fucking disgusting. And I'm glad that some of these motherfuckers got canceled, because they fucking deserved it. Okay? Just because I believe in rehabilitation over incarceration does not fucking mean that, like, no one, and I mean no one, should ever go to fucking jail. Okay? Even motherfucking prison abolitionists don't believe that. So why is Bill Maher taking a more aggressive stance on cancel culture than fucking prison abolitionists? Maybe we should start portraying these old dudes who are creepy as fuck themselves as hysterical weirdos who are only in it for self-interest. The real reason why people get fucking frustrated about cancel culture, especially in these sorts of circles, is because they're not used to getting yelled at by the audience for their takes. This is something I personally deal with every single day. You guys yell at me all the time, even for things that you misunderstand that I'm saying. That's why. Because when you're in a position of power, you're supposed to be above all that. You're supposed to be above any of that, the mob. We never talk about cancel culture from the point of view of, like, the fucking cashier that gets fired because he couldn't show up to work. He's taking care of his father. Okay, we never talk about cancel culture from the point of view of like labor unions or the protections that it's supposed to offer to the average worker. We only talk about cancel culture from the point of view of wealthy people getting their fifis hurt because some fucking anarchists or hammer and sickle lefties or maybe some fucking reactionary right-wingers, depending on who the fucking target is, put together a mob of people and are now yelling at them in their Twitter replies. And sometimes corporations that are one rung above them, above these very powerful individuals, take that shit seriously and move on with it and take action. Okay? Doing stuff in 8th grade stuff is a bit too much though, right? It's entirely dependent on what you have done since then. Notice that none of the people Bill is shitting on are current Dem politicians. By the way, Flame Cyborg, I saw your dono. Thank you, brother. That's a big fucking dono. He says he gave $100. He said, I grew up in a family that never talked politics throughout my adult life. As a result, I've had a hard time putting my political feelings into concrete words / policy. Your content has really helped me find / define my political identity. Thank you. You're welcome. And thank you for watching. Major political identity on a stream. I think I help people with some of the terminology that they might be unfamiliar with, or allow them to have a place where they're like, oh, this guy thinks like me. This is why AOC's approach works so well. While she is more gentle than the leftist groups of the past, unions literally using physical means to meet demands. Instead of talking about lame marginal issues, she always speaks about the material and needs of the working class people. Yes, but she also does not forget that like trans people, black people, women are a part of the working class. Intersectionality is still key. He's right in that people get put off by that behavior and think there needs to be a course correction and they vote GOP as a result. Here's the issue, friend. And this is my take for everybody. There's a delicate balance. There is more nuance to this circumstance. The reason why you never fucking hear about certain people getting fired from their jobs for having, for supporting BDS, or the reason why one of the most significant fucking infringements on the First Amendment in this country was literally a bill written by the American Israeli lobby. Okay? The anti-BDS legislation that like fucking teachers in the South have to sign if they want to fucking teach classes and shit. The reason why that never gets talked about, or the reason why, or I'll use a different example. The reason why people don't fucking defend Tucker Carlson's head writer for all the Nazi shit that he said on a different forum is because people understand deep down inside that some people deserve to be fucking canceled. Okay? Especially if they're literally getting paid to continuously promote these sorts of opinions. The reason why people don't talk about BDS is because it's just considered to be outside of the normal conversation. Palestinians are just not treated as human beings, okay? So it doesn't fucking matter. So any sort of advocacy for Palestinians, or even trans people for that matter, because trans people are also dehumanized in a similar capacity, is considered outside of normal fucking conversation. That's why people can have a back and forth intellectual conversation about whether trans people are human beings or not. Or they can have a back and forth intellectual conversation about, like, you know, how much should you be able to do genocide of the Palestinian population? For those of you who are asking what's BDS, it's boycott, divest, and sanctions on Israel. Okay? It is a similar movement created for apartheid South Africa, because it's a similar regime in Israel where they are really accelerating towards a fucking theocratic a theocratic apartheid regime, a theocratic ethno-state that subjects Palestinians into horrific conditions, where they operate basically the world's largest open-air prison in Gaza. any sort of criticism, any sort of fucking criticism against Israel, or any sort of movement against Israel to try to get Israel to no longer do that is considered completely unacceptable. Just completely fucking unacceptable. That's real fucking cancel culture. And all of these motherfuckers, from Barry Weiss, who cries about cancel culture, to fucking Bill Maher, to Ben Shapiro, they always are 100% without a doubt on board with the cancellation of people when it comes to supporting causes like BDS, criticizing the state of Israel and its fucking violent actions. That is completely outside. Like they can be like the anti-cancel culture warriors who then literally advocate for organizations that specifically target college campus activists and fucking teachers on college campuses to get them fucking fired. Barry Weiss did this shit. Alan Dershowitz, the Dersh, big time supporter of this. Horowitz, right? What's that fucking psychotic right-winger dude who's literally considered he's like, he has his own like SPLC. It's Horowitz, right? Horowitz is another one. No, not Amy Horowitz. There's another one. David Horowitz, I think, right? Was it David Horowitz? I think so. I think it is. Yeah. The Horowitz Freedom Center. Yeah. Wait, no. Is it? You did just call out 3 Jews. Fuck them. Everyone should read Eli Valley's Diaspora Boy because it illuminates the Jewish American experience better than anyone else I've ever read. Oh, Eli Valley? Yeah, he's the man. He's dope. Okay, I'm gonna do, yeah, it is David Horowitz, who has his very own like SPLC page dedicated to him for literally his anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, and anti-black movements. Yeah, I'm gonna run an ad in a second. And then we're gonna move away from this to like more. Move away from this shit. Yeah, Dershowitz straight up got my professor this semester fired from his old university, Norman Finkelstein. Norman Finkelstein is, I mean, he himself is like a little bit fucking moving towards anti-SJW shit. But Norman Finkelstein has dedicated his entire life to correcting the record, okay? He has literally dedicated his entire motherfucking life. He's been blacklisted from everything. Same with Noam Chomsky for the most part, because of their criticisms of Israel. Like, Norman Finkelstein is a person who is blacklisted from pretty much everything. Okay? Like a child of Holocaust survivors who talks about Israel's crimes against the Palestinians routinely. All these fucking free speech advocates love blacklisting the dude, though.
5 months poggies.
So, there you go.
And
they're fucking fake.
Placing let's not see color with let's see it always and everywhere, formerly the position of the Ku Klux Klan. It would be so easy to win elections if we would just drop this shit.
That take, by the way, is so fucking dumb, because there is an exaggerated point on the left or in like lib circles for the most part, but that's basically like saying affirmative action is racist because it focuses on the color of someone's skin. It's like, hey, if the original oppression revolved around the color of someone's fucking skin, then obviously the corrective action that you need to take to right those wrongs of the past is also going to fucking focus on that. Okay? This idiotic color blindness notion is so stupid. Now, that doesn't mean that you should get into like lib phrenology, okay? Because some people do that as well. Or like they take it one step fucking further. And I find that to be ridiculous too. It sucks to keep seeing Jews used as political pawns. I would love to challenge you on that. You think I'm using Jews as political pawns? Criticisms of Israel should not be immediately assumed to be criticisms of the fucking entire Jewish community worldwide, especially when considering the fact that American Jews are not even the biggest fucking advocates for Israel. It's American Zionist Christians. They are a far greater advocate for Israel and its fucking crimes against Palestinians than American Jews are. So what the fuck are you talking about? This is not a Jewish conversation at all. I never fucking see a Jewish person and immediately assume, well, this person is a Jew, so they obviously fucking offer support to Israel unconditionally. Like, that's so silly. There's so many Jews in my community that probably feel disrespected when people say shit like that. Jewish people historically have been at the fucking forefront of radical liberation movements as a consequence of their horrible history of being abused and oppressed. It's ridiculous that, like, some people literally allow the people are, I am one of the Jews who is. What do you mean? The video is over, guys. We're talking about afterthoughts in this circumstance. All right, we've moved on. Like, here, let me finish the video.
Democrats need to listen to our new president-elect's old boss.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly.
Quickly, like before they vote in Georgia.
It's like if you were to fucking criticize, like, the genocide in Yemen being perpetrated by the Saudi kingdom and American weapons, and I got mad and I was like, wow, as a Muslim, it's really disgusting that you're doing Islamophobia. No one thinks that way because you are able to separate Islam from the actions of a specific state and their own personal geopolitical interest in the region. So why can't you, why is this like, why is this something that's so sticky when it comes to Jewish people and Israel for some people? Anyway. No, I'm not going to watch the Andrew Yang video. All right. We're moving away from this. We're going to do more fun stuff now. I apologize for getting fucking permanently stuck on this idiotic video. It's just so easy. It's so fucking easy to just be like, oh, it's the progressives and that's the reason why fucking the Democrats are losing.
Love your stuff, man. Keep it up, please.
It does not matter how many times you motherfucker ban me. I fucking love you. By the way, stop fucking my mom. No. Anyway. The DC protest clash from last night. Yeah, we were going to look at some of that shit, but... We're going to look at some of that, but we can't even fucking... We'll do it. Anyway, here, I'm going to play an ad, 60-second ad break, and then we're moving on to fun stuff. I apologize for getting stun locked so hard. Okay?